Impossible to open.
Closed.
Okay, so that's just... You're just alternating what he was saying. Okay.
Oh, what a smell. There must have been wild animals here once.
Hence menagerie, yes.
I pity the animals that were shut up in here. The cages are very narrow. Nothing of interest here.
At some point there will be, I'm sure of it. It's all boarded up.
Old bandages. This cage has been blocked with planks, so that the interior is hidden from view.
Very interesting. Key. Ah, the medicine cabinet.
A key.
They've taken that out.
A large syringe for animals of a considerable size, evidently. Everything points to that cage having been used to treat sick animals.
Or to test on them, maybe. He's just there, can't you? So I assume it might be that we have to use the syringe on.
Apparently it's...
Yeah, I know.
The only thing intact is this bottle of ether. If the guard sees me, he will sound the alarm. I must neutralize him, but discreetly. There are probably others, and a fight would attract their attention.
Right, so do I have to grab the syringe? Do I need to do something else?
Old everything. I must put something here.
What do I need to do?
I need some. There. That should interest our guard.
Okay. Okay, so how do I get him in here then? Hello? Oh, what? Ah, I see. Is it just here? So I can't just place it around here. I thought that would be a lovely space for it. Is that everything done? Alright, I missed a spot.
Good. My little stratagem is in place. All I need to do is to wait for him to come back here.
Okay, now we're in here. I should use the ether on him. Oh, and they're modern. It's modern £20. You can see from the Elizabeth. Clearly not Victoria. And it's not oldie money. Where even am I? Where am I? I can't actually interact with anything. Ah! What? What is going on? How come he didn't see me? Alright. What? I scanned over that. Actually, we need to use the ether on him. Oh no.
I have to shut him up, and quickly.
That was a brilliant shot. Right, there we go. Can I move? Can I move? Can I move? Yeah, I know he's sleeping. Can I move?
Perfect. Thanks to the ether, this baller will sleep for a long time.
What's the point of having this camera angle thing if it actually puts you in a position where you can't actually play the game anymore? So silly. So silly. Right. So I assume that if we come across other ones, we're going to have to come up with another puzzly way to defeat them. I suspect. Coat hangers. There doesn't look to be anything else around here. Maybe we need to get into there then. I think that's probably the carousel that we saw in the loading screens.
Another guard. This place is full of them. I cannot risk a confrontation. He'll see me coming, and I'll lose the element of surprise. I'll need to find a way to trap him.
Right, okay. Well, we'll go in here then. Thank you, camera angle.
Bearded lady.
Right, okay.
They must have exhibited those poor wretches in these cages and presented them as being dangerous.
Having poisoned them.
Be careful of those boxes. They are balanced, one on top of the other. It would take very little to knock them over.
Yep, someone's in the Wolfman pen.
The mermaid, Poseidon's daughter. This large, empty aquarium held the fair's main attraction. I suppose it was on this small stage that the monsters were presented to the public. Ah, here's something interesting. Hans's diary.
He experimented on them, didn't he? 8th. Monday the 8th. Moriarty is behind schedule. I've been waiting for 2 days now for the materials I need for my research to be delivered. He'll have to get a move on if he wants me to take over the work he has started. My patience has its limits. I have filled in my time by reorganizing this place. An old fair sideshow exhibiting monsters. I don't know if Moriarty's aware of the irony of the situation. To calm my impatience, they brought me a subject at the end of the morning. A dirty old tramp in good health. He will do. I'm going to test the last evolution of Moriarty's poison on him. Night has fallen. The test is finished. We had to kill the subject. His continuous roaring annoyed the boss. I can understand now why he needs my genius to help him advance in his research. The subject was in such a state of murderous madness that he became completely uncontrollable. He didn't even seem to understand the simplest orders. It's a long way from the desired result. Tuesday the 9th. The material still hasn't arrived. On a brighter note, I received 2 new subjects. A man in his 50s, thin, hairy and toothless, and another who was younger, but equally repulsive. We should be thanked for cleaning such parasites off the streets. Wednesday the 10th. I was woken in the middle of the night by screams and laughter which seemed to be coming from the freak show. 2 of Moriarty's men, completely drunk, had locked the 2 subjects up in the same cage before giving them the bowl of poison. They were amusing themselves by betting on the combat's outcome. I hurried off to warn the boss. We can't waste material this way. I rather liked their expressions when they woke up a few hours later. In the cages instead of the tramps. Must have been the worst hangover of their lives. Thursday the 11th. I have finally received the material and the ingredients which will allow me to modify Moriarty's poison. The first experiment is going to be very simple. I'm going to make a few drops of my famous will-annihilating poison and mix them with Moriarty's poison. We will see if that is sufficient to make them obey orders. It's a failure. The subjects didn't even have the time to kill each other. They died less than 30 seconds after being given the poison. The effects of the 2 poisons didn't add up as expected. On the other hand, I'll keep the dosage in mind. A poison that fries the brain so quickly cannot really be called a failure. Friday the 12th. I worked all night to develop the second dosage. This time I distilled the curare differently to obtain a less powerful derivative. I also modified Moriarty's poison, but he was not very open about its composition, so I had to improvise. Another failure. The subject did not die immediately, but he was uncontrollable as the others. The only difference of note is that the wounds and the tissue damage did not get any worse after the poison was taken. That's of no interest. We're not here to treat them. Moriarty assisted in the experiment. He did not say anything and left in silence. I doubt he was pleased. I think he is starting to get impatient. Saturday the 13th. Moriarty is becoming impatient. The idiot doesn't understand anything and he dares to question my talent. He was the one who came to find me to modify his poison. He's been trying for weeks without success, and now he wants me to succeed in 2 days? We had an overheated discussion about it, but I finally got him to admit that a chemist has no choice but to bow to the rules of science. It's nature that sets men the rhythm, and not the other way around. I tried another dosage. This third test was a semi-failure. This time the subject alternated the bouts of madness with a fall of blood pressure. He went from enraged to comatose in a few seconds. I think we're on the right track. Sunday the 14th. Moriarty doesn't want to wait any longer. This morning he openly threatened me. He has given me 2 days to obtain a conclusive result. He gave me to understand that past this deadline I will go from being the researcher to becoming a guinea pig. I'm confident enough. I was able to worm the components of his poison out of him, and as I thought, the problem isn't with my creation, it's with his. His idiot apprentice chemists who worked on it made so many mistakes in the dosage, I am amazed it produces the effect that it does. I've spent more than 10 hours going over the dosages of Moriarty's poison, and I have finally obtained something sufficiently pure to be mixed with my personal composition. A new subject must be delivered as soon as possible. I can't wait to see the results. I succeeded! The problem wasn't with my poison, but with theirs. It was much too strong. I modified it, and the subject proved to be obedient without losing any of his fury. True, he did eat his own hand, but this time it was because we told him to. It's the first time that I've seen Moriarty smile. We have attained the objective. At any time, Moriarty can poison a large section of London's population. The choice of the Whitechapel area is a natural one. It is there that the greatest number of the starving can be found. So at the given moment, these thousands of ragged soldiers can invade the city and spread chaos such as the British Empire has never known. Nothing will stop their fury. The devastation will last for the time that the boss needs to seize power and place that pathetic clown Woodville on the throne. Then the killing frenzy will stop of its own accord. I programmed the poison to last for 48 hours. After that, the subjects will join their victims in the paradise of the flea-ridden. Monday the 15th. I'm now going to be able to mass-produce this wonderful poison. Moriarty has set his men to cleaning up the warehouse below. It is a perfect place. It even has an enormous reservoir in the roof. The boss came here in person to pay me part of the money I was promised for my work. I'll have the rest when his plan has succeeded. I will soon be incredibly rich. I'm probably incredibly dead. Probably.
What a dreadful diary. That Hans is the only real monster ever to have frequented this attraction.
Right.
Chemistry material.
Are we going to have to use it? Let's see.
This cage is still occupied. Not by one of the monsters, but by a poor man. He's still alive, but he's barely human now. Moriarty must have tested his poison on this poor fellow. If he was freed, he would leap at the throat of the first person he saw.
So we need to...
I could easily open the cage by raising the door, but that poor man would leap on me immediately.
Okay, so...
The cage is held shut with this bar. It only needs to be pulled away to open it.
Assuming it means this bar. Okay, so... I assume then we try and so they're going inside. Or we hide around here and open the thing, but I don't know if that will help. Because there's a window around here somewhere, I think. Yeah, here we are.
The cage is held. The cage. The cage. The cage. The cage. The cage. The cage.
Okay. So we need to find a way of luring the guard this way, but we don't have the money anymore to trap him with that.
Another guard. This place.
So we're deliberately being pushed away from going further down that way. So there must be something in here, I would suspect, that we need to interact with. Oh, hello.
I wonder what a rail system is fixed to the ceiling, and a hook is hanging from it. It must be used for moving heavy and bulky objects. The crank is in place. The hook is above the cage of this poor wretch.
Right, okay. So how do I interact with it then? Surely I've then got to come over here and... Oh, there's something else on this table. Or in this area that I've missed. Ooh. My friends, as you all know, next week our adventure must come to an end. You also know that I'm no good at speeches, so I'll keep this brief. After all the years spent with you here, I can honestly say that I think of you as my family. I'm going to miss all of you, but before the fair closes, we've got one last week in business. During this time, I want you all to give the very best of yourselves, so the public will never forget us. So, before getting back to work, here is the list of jobs for the week. Roger, clean out the aquarium. Alice, the kitchen. Tom, pest control. Martha, responsible for keys to the place. Keith, upkeep of the rails and cages. H. Ferguson.
The bearded lady kept the key to this exhibition. Interesting.
Right, well, let's go and have a look at onto the aquarium. So the bearded lady was over here, was she? Okay. What is there even to interact with? Oh, under there. Oh, hello.
Here's what I've been looking for.
What's it the key to, though?
People must have been locked up in here, and they are certain to have been mistreated.
Okay, is there anything over here?
I can't do that. I can't.
No, that doesn't make any sense. No,
I can't.
Yeah, I know. What is it to lock up? Or unlock? Is there something back here?